We survive cancel culture? Can we defeat cancel culture? And by we, I mean Christians from all walks of life in America. We keep on hearing about people losing their jobs, having their bank accounts closed, being kicked out of licensing programs. Can we survive this? Can we overcome it? I'm here with two people who think, yes, we can. We can do it by building our own Christian civilization. And I'm part of the same movement that they're part of. It's called Cancel Proof Christianity. And I want you to join us to try to build a new Christian civilization, starting with the schools. The schools are not the only thing we have to rebuild, but they're the first of four things. So the first conference is going to be about schools. That's this Saturday, September 25th. You can sign up at cancelproofchristianity.com. Okay. Then we're going to have later conferences on the churches, the workplaces, and the media. But for right now, we got to talk about schools. And Doni Anthony is here. She is going to be giving a presentation on the importance of civics and training in government, which is a part of school teaching. One of the things I want to start out by saying, Doni, is that in my experience, usually civics is taught to students in 12th grade. That's the usual time that they teach government classes. I have never been comfortable with that. And, even most Christian schools follow that pattern. But I'm just curious just give us your thoughts as to what are the challenges for Christians if they want to build truly independent schools that are cancel proof, that are not part of the accreditation system, that are not going to get pulled back into secular liberalism. In the area of civics, what's the challenge?
You're absolutely right about when they start teaching it. You really should know a lot sooner. I believe it was I'm from Indiana, so it's between my junior and senior year when you were signing up for those courses in high school. But I think one big issue is I feel like they also put teachers in there who were coaches, so they could just have a coach who was a teacher, so they couldn't be the coach. Or a lot of times people look at those classes boring, like, oh my gosh, this is a boring class. I don't really care about it. It's just something I just need to get by on. And I saw a lot of, not necessarily my school, but people were getting completion grades on that. You didn't really have to know or learn anything. Where I had to memorize, I don't have memorized by heart anymore, but I had to memorize the different articles of the Constitution. They made sure we knew our stuff before we got out of school. And I'm actually very appreciative of it. I grew up in a very sheltered household. So I was excited when I was graduating to get all these freedoms that are supposed to be mine, only to see that the government actually is another parent in a sense. So if people really understand what rights they have, they will be less likely to let people take those rights from them. And then we had to learn that at a very young age. And honestly, too, I think kids have heard little spits and spats here and there because, if you did something wrong, you'd be like, what? I have the right to say it. It's freedom of speech. I can say it, but they don't understand it because it wasn't taught earlier on as a kid.
Yeah, and one of the things that's hard, I don't know, Paul, if you feel this way too, but I feel like even in Christian schools, they don't explain to students the fullness of how Christianity influenced the Constitution and influenced the people who wrote it. The whole concept that every individual has dignity and that you're equal before the eyes of the ultimate judge, and the influence of the Mosaic Law, because that influenced, the Magna Carta, and then that influenced the 1689 Bill of Rights that came out of England. So there's a lot of that goes into that. All right, Doni, I'm just going to put this in real simple terms. What is the risk to someone who wants to set up a homeschooling pod, or they want to set up a Christian educational environment, and they hit that deadline where they have to start giving classes, and they say, you know what, the only textbook on American government that's out there was published by Pearson Longman or was published by McGraw-Hill. So I'm just going to go with the one that I can find at the library. It's a generally Christian environment. We're teaching Bible here and there. So we're just going to teach them this book, which was published by a secular company. What do you say to that?
Then what's the point of the movement in the first place if we're just going to go do that? To make it really simple, right. Our whole point of what we're trying to do is to separate ourselves from that and to teach our students the correct thing, that our future little citizens what's right. So if we're going back and teaching them the same things as what's going on, even if it's just not as bad as the other books, what was the point? We need people to step up and use their things they're intelligent with, their expertise. You may have to volunteer starting off. You may not get financial rewards from it, but you're actually going to be doing a lot. If you think about our forefathers, do you think they got a check for coming over here and doing what they did in our Constitution? It didn't look like it. Didn't sound like it when I was reading it. They didn't get rich off of that.
Right.
So at a point, we're going to have to just do our part. And it's a gift from God that we have, and it's worth a lot. You may not get a paycheck. You may not want to make time for it because it doesn't pay the bills, but eventually it's going to save our country.
Yeah. And I think the thing about it that I want to let Christians know is you have to be in the game, in the curriculum. That's where a lot of this starts. It's good that we set up the structure to be able to offer Christian education, but we have to be working together as a Christian community to produce the curriculum, to produce the knowledge, so that, because there's a lot of families, like if you're having a small hybrid homeschooling Christian school pod running out of a church, that has maybe 35 students in it, you might not be able to have teachers that are fully trained in government. So they're going to need to have a good textbook. So we got to keep our eyes out for that, Thank you so much, Doni. And listen, she's going to be giving a whole half-hour presentation, so you're going to be able to hear a lot more of her vision and why this is so important for cancel-proofing Christianity and also for building independent Christian schools. Remember, go to cancelproofchristianity.com. It's going to be on September 25th, and you can register at that website. You can come in person if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or you can join by live stream from anywhere in the world. Thank you very much to both of you.
Thank you for having us.